Hey guys, back again for another bluegrass video. I am really in a bluegrass guitar picking mood today, so figured the best way to kind of filter that out is to create some videos around that very subject. And it is almost midnight, so I'm deciding to, just stay up and chill a little bit. I've actually got, for the first time here on YouTube, my sleep pants on. That's where you probably see these UT legs down here. That's what that is. And I decided to put on a nice shirt. So, Jedi mind trick. You never saw the sleep pants. Okay, so that was a little tune. I thought, here's my theory. Here's my thinking about this. Is that I'm flipping through my songbook. The one that I recently did a gospel songs concert video for here on YouTube, and eventually I'm going to be singing some of these songs in here. And so what I'm doing is I'm flipping through and doing the solo lessons ahead of time. Now, because of that, I haven't played the solos in the actual context of the song. I haven't recorded the songs or anything like that. Those may be different from what I'm teaching now. But for the most part, this is kind of my idea and what I'm seeing, unless I learn something new. A good idea to start with, and then from there, if you see me do something different on these songs, on some more videos in the future, then you can kind of glean from that as well. But this song is a very beautiful song. I got it from the Bluegrass Album Band, and it's one of the newer songs that I've put in my songbook. It's called "Back to the Cross." Beautiful, beautiful invitation song. Very melodic, very kind of Carter family-ish style. And what I'm doing is kind of like the same thing that the mandolin is doing, Doyle Lawson is doing in the mandolin. So let's just go over this solo real quick. Slowed down version for you guys, and I'm using the capo here. I'm in the key of A. So let's just kind of break this down a little bit, analyze what's going on here. Usually I would start this out with something like, and just go on from there, but I kind of like, instead of moving up, I kind of like the descending sound. Just a simple transition lick here to the 4th fret. Now, if we don't have a capo, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4th fret on the G string, and it can be a double stop or just a quick one of those. And you can add that little there if you want to, but I prefer leaving it to the end for a little bit more emphasis on that solo. So far, I think what I actually did just a minute ago when I started this, I like that hammer on, 2nd fret. So now, once again, when I'm doing these lessons, don't forget, I don't say this all the time, but don't forget to pay attention to this hand. Picking is extremely important in making sure that you don't crash and burn when you're playing these tunes. And I go over a lot of picking videos on YouTube here. But I also go on picking even more in depth on my Bluegrass Guitar Essentials course. So definitely check that out at bluegrassguitaressentials.com. It's available in DVD or webisodes. The first webisode is absolutely free, so that you can kind of get a trial, version of it with no obligation and see if it's the right thing for you. But picking is extremely important, and I go over that in, I think it's webisodes 2 and 3, maybe it's 3 and 4. Tuning and picking. Very, very important when it comes to intricate little things like this. You got to get that right hand under control, and I go over that. So here that is again. faster, make sure I'm doing that that way. That's what I want to do the first time. And then you can do a pull off there on this, the C, or I like the first fret pull off a lot. Now typically sometimes I'll do, but I kind of like having that open B string there, ringing it as I'm doing this. That adds to the D, it goes straight to the D. So down, up, down, up, down. You can even add a D run if you want to. Then we go back to the same thing, and sometimes maybe I would do a trill there. Nice little, you know, upbeat part. Or that's cool to do too. I'm just keeping that C shape, the top half of the C shape there. Open G, the down, up, down, down, up on note, up on the B, G, and E, D, and then down on the D, G, and B. If you're playing that C, you want to hold that, just aim that pinky for the 4th fret D string. And this is very important too, down, up, down, up. And that's kind of like a cross picking thing. Even though we're not crossing over anything, it's got a nice little roll effect. So it's down on the G, it's always down on the G. Down on the G, up on the D, and up on the B. Practice thing. Okay. And then I reach over with my pinky here typically, but if you're playing this D and you're used to that, all that is 4th fret D, open, back down to 4th fret D. Up on the G that you're pressing down with your first finger, and the 2nd fret, then down on the open again. So once again, very slowly. Very beautiful, melodic, and it's Carter-esque in the sense that it's very simple, but it's not Carter-esque in the picking. There's a lot of down-ups. Typically Carter family tunes have a lot of downstrokes on the melody notes, but this has a lot of upstrokes, you know, in between some of those. And another thing I was going to point out, that's a lot of people ask me about, and I never really think to go over a lesson, so I think I will now, and that is how do I make the guitar sound like I'm playing, like there's 2 guitars playing. A lot of people say that. And you just got to remember that this hand really keeps the beat. It really keeps the rhythm. And what you have to remember is that if you're used to strumming, now I've got a whole nother video on strumming that I really recommend here on YouTube. I think it's called How to Tighten Up Your Strumming and Strum More Effectively. If you'll just do a search for that on my channel. That's the one I always recommend people to if they want to learn about bluegrass strumming. Now there's some praise and worship strumming things I do as well, but my main bluegrass strumming video is right there. And so if you're already used to doing like strumming patterns, if you're already used to doing some basic down ups with a little skips in between, dead air that helps the break up the strumming, and that's basically what I'm doing when I'm picking. I'm allowing that hand to continue that rhythm, to continue that beat, so that it's not stiff, it's very loose. And most of the time when you're if you're doing all downstrokes, then your hand has to come back up to do another downstroke, right? You don't really think about it. And it kind of throws you off when you begin to think about it and you try to start forcing the upstrokes. It kind of throws everything off. You don't need to force the upstrokes. What you need to do is just let Steve Kaufman puts it this way, let your hand catch a couple strings as they come back up. It has to come up anyway, so why not catch a couple of the bottom strings? Now, we don't want to force all the strings and hit all the strings every time. Typically, you want to hit the bottom 2 or 3 strings, maybe even the D string very lightly, and then let the bass do its thing. It separates the bass and the treble apart. And I'll go over all that on the strumming video, but what I'm doing with my picking, for example, is the same thing. I'm just letting the strum continue. Now, you heard the strumming in between the dead space. If I didn't do the strumming, here's what that would sound like. Very dead, very boring, and usually you can get away with that if you have somebody else doing the backup. But if you're the only person doing your own rhythm section and your lead section, then you need that hand to keep going. So I'll do this very slowly now, painstakingly and painfully slowly, and I'll emphasize and exaggerate the strumming a little bit. Now, you don't want to typically force that, but I'm going to do that so that you can see how this, and a lot of this happens on the upstroke, okay? The downstroke is the melody, it's the attack, and a lot of the other stuff is just filler in between with the upstroke. So let's see how that works. Okay, so there's a lot of filler happening, and it's sometimes I want the single notes, especially if I'm doing down upstrokes, because the upstroke is now being taken away with a melody instead of a strum. Okay, so I was just messing around, but the upstrokes are replaced with melody lines and single note lines. Sometimes, so that's where the dead spots kind of happen, and it's nice to have a little bit of air and a little bit of strumming to fill that air, so that you can have a more kind of almost chorus or symphonic sound to it. It has multiple instruments, so to speak, even though you're using just one guitar. So that's Back to the Cross. I'm not going to spend any more time on that, and I hope you enjoyed that. Please check out BluegrassGuitarEssentials.com for even more lessons on bluegrass guitar, complete with tabs, diagrams, everything you could ever think of. I don't really have time to do that on my normal channel, on these normal videos. That's why I try to do things slowly. But if you want tabs and all that, that is available on my course at a very affordable and very reasonable rate compared to what you get. It's a 7-disc comprehensive course. And the webisodes, if you get all the webisodes together, it's even cheaper to get the DVDs. By like $25 if you get the DVD package. So totally up to you what you want to check out. Like I said before, the first webisode is free. So if you go to BluegrassGuitarEssentials.com/DVDs, there's at the bottom where the pricing is, there is a link for the webisodes and a link for the DVDs that you can kind of access the webisodes for both. Or you can go straight to the webisodes page by going to BluegrassGuitarEssentials.com/webisodes. So that's enough plugging the course for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'm going to get off here and try to find another couple tunes and then call it a night. I'm having a lot of fun doing this, getting back into the groove here, and we'll see just how many this I can crank out until the next time. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great day, or night, depending on where you're at, and I'll talk to you later. God bless.